if we be worthy. Wars, battles, strife, conflict of all kinds and of every description, they come and they go. For whatever reason or combination of reasons, they begin, and sooner or later they end. Only one is perennial. From the very beginning of human history until this present moment, it has been in the world, and so it will be until the world itself is no more. I speak, of course, of the never-ending war, the everlasting conflict of good and evil, of moral right and moral wrong, of virtue and righteousness against vice and wickedness. But has there ever been, I wonder, a time when evil has more widely prevailed than in our day? It would seem not. Indeed, if ever there was a period in history when the powers of darkness appeared to be headed for a decisive triumph, that time is now. Immorality is widespread, vice and wickedness are rampant, all forms of evil abound. Oh, true enough, but surely the depths of degeneracy to which America has sunk in recent years are without parallel, a condition bemoaned and deplored by all who still retain any sense of morality and decency. Indeed, so extensive and so intensive is the immorality which today permeates and contaminates our land, and so grave is the threat posed by the continuing advance of the amoral communist conspiracy on the American scene, that some there are who are quite convinced that we are today in the last days, foretold in the pages of Holy Scripture. Others there are who simply but firmly believe that the present situation is hopeless, that, in other words, without some miraculous intervention of the Almighty, we are indeed doomed.
Americans are wondering, what does New World Order mean? The phrase New World Order has been around for decades. This book was written in 1920, calling for international controls. It was Nelson Rockefeller's goal in 1968. Fidel Castro demanded it at the United Nations in 1979. Mikhail Gorbachev urged it at Stanford University in 1990. And now, look who's calling for it.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this New World Order.
The New World Order, is it something we should eagerly anticipate, or is it something we should dread? Will it usher in an era of peace and understanding, or will it transform the world into a place where the living will envy the dead? And what about the recent events in the Soviet Union? Should we be rejoicing, or are they grim harbingers of the appearance of a charismatic leader who will promote the idea of a paradise on earth, the Antichrist?
The New World Order means one world government under socialism. And I think the way to further define that is the president on January 24th, matter of fact, very shortly after the blurb we saw on the television there, made the statement, what was and is at stake is the promise of a new world order based upon the rule of law. And the rule of law is a key phrase there also, because as we traditionally perceive the rule of law under Christian civilization and as America was set up, our rights were given to us by God, and the proper function of government and law was to protect those rights. When the president uses that terminology, rule of law, in association with the New World Order, God is kicked completely out of the picture. Our rights, instead of being given to us by God, then become privileges granted by the state, to be withdrawn whenever the state thinks it's appropriate to withdraw them.
How does communism work? How has it worked in country after country after country after country? This was the plan passed from Joseph Stalin to various communist district organizers in helping America self-destruct. In the area of religion, by philosophy, the development of liberal cults, and the furtherance of atheism, discredit all Christian creeds. In the ethical area, corrupt morality by advocating promiscuity and advising high school and university students to practice promiscuity. Introduce companionate marriage ideas, advocate legalized abortions, destroy the family. In the aesthetic area, cultivate the ugly, cultivate futuristic and aberrant art, literature, drama, and music. Cultivate the practice of crude Orientalism, modernism, and degenerate perversion. Wake up! This is communism.
Educate yourself. Understand what's going on around you. You are not living at the time of peace. You are in a state of war. And you have precious little time to save yourself.
But there is a third group of Americans who, while being well aware of the twin dangers of collectivism and immorality, which ever increasingly threaten the very survival of our country, who nonetheless remain optimistic about the ultimate outcome of the conflict which engages them. I'm one of those. Are we being realistic? I believe we are. I believe that victory, even at this late date, is entirely within the realm of realism if we can get in time enough of our fellow Americans to join and to work with us, and if we be worthy. What constitutes our being worthy? First and foremost, we must have faith in God. Pray as if everything depended upon God, and work as if everything depended upon yourself. An honorable person is a person of integrity, of principle, of character. A person who makes a genuine and sustained effort to live an upright and moral life, both privately and in his dealings with his fellow men. However noble the objectives he seeks, he will not do evil to attain them, being firmly committed to the rule of morality that the end does not justify the means. Without honor, we most certainly would not be deserving to attain the goals we seek. In the words of Mr. Robert Welsh, we are visibly in the most critical period of the final and crucial battle to save our freedom and our lives. Again, we are visibly in the most critical period of the final and crucial battle to save our freedom and our lives. That the challenge confronting us is an awesome one, there is no question. That we are approaching a decisive crisis, there is no doubt. Nor is there any question nor doubt in my mind that with a sufficient increase in our numbers in time, we can and we will successfully meet that challenge and survive that crisis if we be worthy. Let us strive as never before to increase our ranks with the caliber of American we seek, and let us, each and every one, let us redouble our efforts in every way in the days and weeks and months ahead in the fight for God, family, and country in which we are engaged. We can and we will win if we be worthy. The question is not, is God on our side? God is diametrically opposed to all that is evil, and communism is consummate evil. But rather the question is, are we on God's side? If we, the conservative, informed, God-serving, patriotic, anti-communist citizens of America, if we don't do the job, who else is going to do it? The answer is simple and clear. Nobody's going to do it. It just isn't going to be done. And if it isn't, this land of ours will fall to communist conquest, with a nightmare of cruelty and barbarity and ruthlessness following that conquest on a scale and to a degree which all but defies adequate description. But thank God, this does not have to be. It is not inevitable. And despite the federal government, despite the press, despite the schools, please God, it will not be. O Lord, make us worthy. O God, help us to be worthy.